Managing your money is one of the most important skills and habits that you can develop. Have you ever heard the saying, pay yourself first? If you're in the world of business or self-help, you probably have. But what does it really mean? Maybe you've heard it here on YouTube, or maybe you've read about it in the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Paying yourself first doesn't mean that you have to spend a percentage of your income on random things you don't need, or nights out. It simply means that you should put aside a percentage of your income every single time you get paid. You need to do this before you pay your rent, before taxes, before anything else. This percentage can be as high as 20% and as low as 1%. The goal is to just get started. Moments ago, I said that money management is a habit and a skill. Here's what that means. A habit is something you develop with time. The common rule is that in order to develop a habit, you need 14 days of repetition. That's 2 weeks of practicing that habit without interruptions. This rule is called the 14-90 rule, since it would take 14 days to develop the habit and 90 days of repetition to develop the lifestyle. Now, that rule usually works for most activities, especially those daily ones, but it won't work for money management, simply because most people do not receive money on a daily basis. Instead, most people have a job, which pays monthly or weekly. In the case of money management, it might take you anything from 6 months to 2 years of practicing the habit before it becomes your lifestyle. As I said, it doesn't matter how small you save or invest. The important thing is to get started so that you develop the habit while you grow your income. If you aren't saving a small percentage of your income when you're making $40,000 a year, what makes you think you'll save money when you're going to make 6 figures? Money management is also a skill. This means that anyone can develop and master it. It's all about having the right financial literacy, and it's much more than just putting money away for future investments. Today, I'm going to teach you the fundamentals of money management, which will change your financial life. This is so important for a healthy life, especially if you're planning to grow your income and you'd like to expand your horizons. But before we get into it, are we giving you value? Is this information useful to you? If so, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Here on Practical Wisdom, we're committed to giving you value with every single video we make. Now, let's get started. It's all about how much you keep. If you're looking for growth, here's something you should remember at all times. It isn't about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. For growth, it doesn't matter if you're making $10,000 every single month, if you're spending it all. If you don't have anything to invest with in the future, or to rely on in case of an emergency, you're always one paycheck away from disaster and even bankruptcy. Did you know that 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt after winning the lottery? Why is that? First of all, they have no idea how to handle that kind of money. They're going to invest it in things they don't understand. They won't control their emotions in front of the tempting opportunities. They won't even keep track of their money, failing to understand that $1 million isn't endless money. Money management is what keeps you away from disaster. So if you're looking for growth, you should start thinking about how much money you're putting aside for investments and savings. If that percentage is smaller than 10%, you should reconsider your money management strategy. But here's the reality. Most people don't even know what that percentage is. And that leads me to the next point. Keep track of your finances. Most people have no idea how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. You must keep track of every single penny that you're spending. And then you should classify your spendings into 4 or 5 categories depending on your financial situation. But why won't most people keep track of their finances? Well, there are a couple of reasons. They're lazy and they're afraid. Let me unpack this. Keeping track of your expenses, investments, and savings might be a lot of work for some people. Sitting down on a weekly or monthly basis and putting a bunch of numbers on a table or a worksheet sounds out of this world for some people. Second, people are afraid. Afraid of what, I can hear you asking? They aren't comfortable with the truth of how much money they're truly spending on useless things. This is because keeping track of your money reveals to you your spending habits, which might be deeply unhealthy. When people are uncomfortable with the truth, they do one or both of these things. They delay the truth as much as possible instead of revealing it now. They avoid the truth and pretend everything is fine. Classify your spendings. Here's how you should classify your expenses. Money has 5 functions. You make it, you save it, you invest it, you spend it, and you donate it. The last one might not be right for you depending on your financial situation, but it's an important role that money plays in our society. Most rich people donate thousands, if not millions of dollars. And we're not talking about random charities, but about charities that you actually care about. Anyway, most rich people divide all their expenses into 4 or 5 categories. Needs. This is everything that you need in order to survive. We're not talking about that new pair of expensive shoes you've been looking at for the past couple of weeks. We're talking about what you actually need in order to survive. This includes your rent, food, water, fundamental bills like electricity and water. If you're in a negative financial situation, you might also want to look for ways to save money on your needs by changing your subscriptions or moving to a less expensive apartment. A gym membership is also considered a need since it's important for your health, but you should consider working out with no equipment at home. Wants. This is everything that you don't actually need in order to survive, but you simply enjoy. This includes every night out with your friends, sweets, your Netflix subscription, and anything that you don't need to survive. This is where you should seriously cut out expenses. I'm not saying that you should cut out all wants, but you should consider cutting by at least 25 to 50% depending on your situation. If you keep track of your expenses, this will be easy to do. And if you have a fixed income, you just have to set a spending limit you need to live by every month. Savings. This includes all the money that you put aside for a rainy day or for an investment. Before saving to invest, you should save for emergency situations. Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck. This means that if they lose their income today, they might not be able to make it until next month. If you too live paycheck to paycheck, you're always 1 month away from failure. I don't know how comfortable you feel about that. So first, you should save for at least 3 months of rainy days. This means that if you lose all your streams of income, you'll be able to survive for another 3 months at least. Some people even save up to 6 or 12 months of rainy days. After you create your emergency fund, you're ready to start saving. Investments. This includes everything you invest in, whether you see a return or not. It's not just stocks, bonds, trading, or real estate. It could also be investing in your education. You should always calculate your return on every investment you make. You should always be comfortable with losing money. Debt is powerful if you have the brains and discipline. Have you ever heard people talk about how dangerous credit cards are? People are so afraid of debt. They won't use their credit cards even in the most desperate of situations. People have a negative association with debt in any way, shape, or form, and for good reasons. Do you know the rule of compound interest? Compounding is usually presented as the best way to invest, and people like Warren Buffett love it. It means that the more money you make, the bigger your money-making potential is. It's like a snowball effect. Growth is exponential, and even if you start with very little money, you can make serious amounts of money if you have discipline, patience, and if you're clever enough. But here's something most people don't really talk about. Compounding works both ways. It can seriously grow your income, but it can seriously put you in trouble too. Especially credit card debt. You don't want it. Stay away from it at all costs. Always pay credit card bills on time. This is the most common form of debt in the US among student loan debt and medical debt. With this said, debt also has potential. We're not talking about not paying your bills on time. We're talking about lending money from banks in order to invest, or even just using your credit card to improve your credibility in the eyes of banks. If in the future you're going to want to buy a home, or if you're going to invest in a business or buy one, you're probably going to ask for money from banks. In order to define whether you are credible or not, banks are going to look at your history and your credit score. If you never use your credit cards, you won't get that. Also, there are a few advantages if you use your credit cards, the little perks your bank will offer you for using it. Here's a pro tip. You can actually call your bank and ask for a lower interest rate on your card. You can even ask for more perks and advantages. Most people don't know this, but you can negotiate with banks, and you're likely to get what you want if you ask properly. However, you're definitely not going to get it if you don't ask for it. So remember this, debt is a powerful weapon, but you can hurt yourself with it. If you have the right financial education and discipline, you can use this weapon. Otherwise, you should first develop and master your financial skills. You don't want to risk it all, just so that you can buy stuff with money you don't have. It's up to you, really. Got it? Good. Now here are a couple videos you should watch for even more value. 14 characteristics all poor people share. And also this, how to spot a good investment, how to invest. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you found value in the video, do give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend or two. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and consider subscribing for more content like this. With that said, have a great day you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.